Hey everybody, Little Monsters Movie Podcast here.
Hey, group.
Dino and Ted.
What was that you said?
As you can see, we're going a little off topic, off horror here. We've done enough. We're going to throw in one of our comedies we really like, A Shot in the Dark, from the Pink Panther series.
Right. But it does tie into some horror. I'm going to throw 3 different kinds of smoke at you. Tie it in 3 different ways.
Yes.
When we get to it.
Yes, there is some horror connections here.
That's right.
But it's 1964, and
it's the second of the Pink Panther movies.
Yes. And it's Peter Sellers' slapstick comedy. I mean,
right. Well, I think
you like
this
that,
one's a little bit more like subtle, whereas after this, it became a little bit more slapstick.
Right. Well, I was going to say, I mean, I think these movies are getting a little lost now because it's the storylines and stuff. I don't think that people can appreciate the weight to the comedy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even I found myself, because I've seen it before.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you're watching this for the first time, I can see, you know what I mean? I could see you sitting there the first 10 minutes and waiting. Well,
it's that song at the beginning. It goes on but that sets up the movie.
And that's how the 60s were. The movies were like that. I mean, they had the storylines
embedded in the 60s.
Yes, totally 100%. And it takes place in, it's a French Inspector Clouseau.
But, I love it. It's one of my top 5 favorite comedies.
I love Peter Sellers. He's right up there with Jerry Lewis. I mean, take a look at Peter Sellers' stuff. He's got a lot of good stuff. I mean, Dr. Strangelove. He did so all
many
around.
Different accents and disguises. And, it was always people who knew him. So it was kind of hard to get to know him because he was always, kind of like the Andy Kaufman of the 60s, I guess. You never really knew who Peter Sellers really was. And so this was the first Pink Panther movie. Mm-hmm. And this is before there was a Pink Panther cartoon. There was Pink Panther movies.
Right.
The Pink Panther cartoon came from the Pink Panther movies.
Yeah, because they kind of embedded the cartoons at
all
the
beginning. And started off with a little, Pink Panther. Except for Shot in the Dark does not have Pink Panther in the title or in the cartoon at the beginning.
Right.
The others do. The first Pink Panther movie is not the funniest. It's the Pink Panther is actually the name of a big diamond. And at the center of the diamond is a little flaw, if you remember, that looks like a leaping panther. And the first movie deals with an actor named David Niven. Some of you may have heard of. He plays a very rich and sophisticated jewel thief called the Phantom, and he tries to steal the diamond. And Peter Sellers only has like a supporting role in that movie. He's not the main character. He's not in it as much as we'd like.
Yeah.
But that character got very popular. People loved him as that character. And so when they decided to do Shot in the Dark, they made it. This is actually like a French play. It's based on a French play. I can't remember the name of it. But the beginning
of the movie kind of looks like that. You can see kind of a theatrical scene to it.
When we get to the end of the film, revealing of who did what is very much like a stage play.
Oh yeah.
And
very reminiscent of the old murder mysteries of the 30s, 40s.
Whodunit. That's what it was. It was
right.
It was not necessarily a comedy. And they were going to make that as a movie and have Peter Sellers be in it. He didn't like it, so they gave it to the guy who directed pretty much all of the Pink Panther movies, Blake Edwards. And he turned it into a Clouseau vehicle.
The Mel Brooks of the era.
Yeah, kind of. Blake Edwards, he's mostly known for these comedies, but he did like Breakfast at Tiffany's and stuff like that.
Yep.
And Shot in the Dark was the second in the series. Clouseau is the main character. We're introduced.
Well, should we tell them the horror connection?
Well, the first horror connection, the first smoke I'm throwing at you,
is a really big one.
Is a screenplay by
William
Blake Edwards and
Peter Blatty,
who wrote The Exorcist.
Yep.
So there's your first smoke blown right at you.
Yeah.
William Peter Blatty was a screenwriter before he wrote that book. And he's written other books. I don't know how many other horror books he's written besides Exorcist and Legion.
And The Exorcist book was the frickin' scariest book I've ever read.
It's a fantastic book. Even when they made the movie, they said that they just used the book. They didn't
even
have
way
so
better
much
than the
script.
movie. Yeah.
Well, there's just more. I mean, the
not saying that the movie. I mean, the movie's great too.
The movie's very close to the book. There's just other things in the book that aren't in the movie.
Right.
Some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you watch the movie The Exorcist, you never in the second one they tell you, but in the first one, you just think it's the devil. That's what the character says. But then when you read the book, you realize it's really another demon called Pazuzu.
Yep.
And the reason that when he's possessing the girl and making her say she's the devil is because when they do that research to determine if it's an authentic exorcism, everybody's always, it's the devil, or they're always Napoleon. If you say it's the devil, they're not going to try to exorcise because they're going to think she's got something mental going on. If they said Pazuzu, that'd be something different.
Right.
And there was another part in the book where, I know I'm going totally off topic here. We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
And like she had a book, like Reagan had taken a book from somebody and she had a section in it marked like with a bookmark about demons and exorcism stuff, and the priest like found it under the bed to further like suggestion, like she had read it and then she got the idea that I'm possessed, and that to further debunk that she was actually truly possessed. in
the book.
So those are some things, just some examples of things that were in the book. But
interesting that he
did,
he wrote the
Pink
screenplay.
Panther. And the beginning of the movie, I could see.
I like the beginning of the movie.
I do.
I mean, cool. but this is where a lot of people might just go like, "What the heck is going?"
But it does kind of set it up because you realize it's a big mansion, and the guy who owns it, he and his mistress, and the groundskeepers, the butlers, second maids,
groundskeeper, everybody,
gardener. They're all having affairs with each other.
Well, they show them their rooms are lit up.
Right.
They're all in robes.
They're playing
they're all in robes, and they're all going to each other's rooms.
Some have flowers, some have wine, or little baskets with cheese and bread.
And
they're all they're all crisscrossing, going to different rooms.
Intersecting,
right, and you realize that they're all having affairs with each other.
Yeah.
And you go in one room, the lights go off, and you hear some gunshots. And it takes about 5 minutes to get to all that while the song plays. But it's just setting the mood.
Yeah.
It's the 60s, and I think people had longer attention spans back then. And, well, unless you sat through Return of the King. But
no, definitely the movies back then, they're
just different. Just like even if you're a James Bond fan, I love Sean Connery.
Same here. I was going to actually make the same reference to those movies.
Take the first 3 James Bond movies, especially Dr. No and From Russia with Love and Goldfinger, firmly in the 60s. I mean,
and great movies,
right?
But again, there's the laws even between the action to where he'll sit there and he'll talk for a good 5-10 minutes.
Yep.
And you got to sit through it,
Well,
to
I
get
don't mind sitting.
No, I don't. But I can see where a lot of people, I mean, especially the younger crowd and people who haven't experienced the movies from the 60s are going to, just look at it and just probably bypass it, just starting it off and going, oh, forget that. But who knows? I mean,
I didn't really get into the Pink Panther series until I was probably in my 20s. My dad introduced me to them. I never really watched them. I just remember.
He introduced you to him?
Yeah, my dad's a big fan of Peter Sellers. And he and the Pink Panther, they hung out.
Yeah.
Rode motorcycles.
We played poker on Sundays.
Yep.
Okay.
And but you probably just remember my buddy Chris was saying, I just remember being a kid and being pissed off that the Pink Panther wasn't actually in it.
No, right.
There's no Pink Panther in this.
Because I remember the same thing. Yeah, right. Where's the cartoon?
And the series after this film, Shot in the Dark, was very successful. Made a ton of money. I think it only cost a couple mil to make, and it made the equivalent of like $100 million or something like that. Very big money maker.
Right.
And then, from what I understand, Blake Edwards, the director and pretty much the mastermind behind the Pink Panther films, sounds like he and Peter Sellers did not always get along. It sounded like when it was good, it was like magic, but sometimes Peter Sellers was very difficult.
No, I was going to say I can see where Peter Sellers had that ego. And
this is before he was huge. I mean, he's just his method of acting, and he was a little bit of a hypochondriac, and
he had his
immature,
issues.
From what I understand. And
he's kind of like me. He's got issues.
Exactly cut from the same cloth.
So I can understand. But,
and for a while they swore they would never work together again. But then once in a while, a good idea would come up, and they would want to do it again. Because then there was a movie after this one called Inspector Clouseau with Alan Arkin, which I don't think I've ever even seen, where he plays Clouseau.
Really?
And it's not really connected to any of the others. Then Peter Sellers came back in like 74 or something like that for Return of the Pink Panther. And all the rest until he died in 1980, and then they made like that terrible one. What was that? Trail of the Pink Panther, where they just used like outtakes and footage from other movies to try to make another movie. And then
the final film that just blows.
And then there was the one that like really didn't even have him in it, and his wife at that time.
I think the name of the movie was called "This Ain't the Pink Panther."
Right. Yeah. That's a good name for the movie.
Yeah.
And then that Roberto Benigni played the son of Clouseau.
Right. I thought that wasn't too bad of a movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. And he's playing the offspring of Jacques Clouseau, and the main female person in this film, Elke Summers, Maria Gambrelli, and supposedly she had a baby, and that's their son, and he's inherited a lot of his father's traits. And then there's the Steve Martin ones, which they tried to bring it to a new audience, and I don't know if they were any good or not. Well, if you were to ask me, you know how I am. If you watch this podcast, I'm going to tell you right now without even watching it suck. But maybe they were funny. I don't know.
I watched the first one.
He probably tried to be Peter Sellers too much.
He did. That's exactly what happened. Steve Martin was trying his best to sound like him, and that's what blew it. I mean, Peter Sellers, that's Inspector Clouseau.
Right.
That's what his bumbling speech.
No one told
made him.
Peter Sellers what to do. He created that character.
Right. Oh yeah.
And what I think is funny is he's got a sort of forced. Let me explain. Jacques Clouseau. He is a detective.
Bumbling detective.
He takes himself very seriously.
Oh, he does.
But there are times when I think he realizes he don't know what the hell's going on, and that's when he'll do something like, "What was that you just said?" When he knows damn well no one said anything.
He's a klutz, but he covers himself. He covers it up by saying, "I meant to do this,"
or something like that.
I just spoke Arabic. But anyways, go ahead.
He's got
it's French.
A weird French accent that the other French people in the movie seem to not even really know what he's saying.
Right.
and it gets more pronounced as the films go on.
Don't they say, what did you say?
Yeah. Like it bimmed. You hit the girl gets a bump on it. Oh, you have a very nasty bim.
On the head. Yeah.
And he's got his little gendarme mustache, and he's a terrible detective, but he ends up
and that's what's great about it. He's a terrible detective,
but he was right in this movie. He was right that she didn't do it. All the evidence points that Elke Summers, who's very beautiful blonde in this movie.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. Elke Summers for 1964, she was a very good, beautiful woman.
Man. There was some very good. Claudia Cardinal, Brigitte Bardot. I mean, if you guys haven't seen what these
Raquel Welch,
woo! Back in the day, way better, man.
Not even back in the day. I mean, you could talk now, but anyways.
I mean, you could just see where
right
where she is now. You can see where she came from.
Yeah,
I mean, you could tell when she was younger she wasn't ugly. But I mean, go look at a picture of Brigitte Bardot, and I'll give that the Pepsi challenge to any of these broads out there today. Nothing.
Wow. And Sports Illustrated,
nothing
specials.
So he always
Secrets.
He's a klutz. He never has the right theories about anything, but he always ends up solving the case.
Always works
dumb luck.
Dumb luck, yeah.
Dumb luck, and it all just kind of happens. And then, like later on in the movie, he's like, chief inspector, and he's heralded throughout the country. But then when people actually start working with him, they're like, he's an idiot. So I mean, that's how after we said the gunshot goes off, and then it always goes into a little animated credits section, and then the film starts with Chief Inspector Dreyfus.
Who
Smoke number 2 is played by Herbert Lom, and if you like horror movies, he's been in Hammer's Phantom of the Opera. He's been in Mark of the Devil. If you like Harryhausen movies, he was in Mysterious Island, played Captain Nemo. So that's Smoke number 2.
He played Little Nemo in Disney's Pixar.
Right, the little fish, that was Herbert Lom swimming around in a little costume.
Oh.
It was motion capture.
Sorry, I missed.
You didn't see that movie? Finding Herbert? So, and he
gets a call from the millionaire.
Yeah, about a murder.
Yeah.
And then one of his guys comes in and says, I've got terrible news. I heard about the murder. And he's like, well, the murder's not the terrible news. No, I didn't realize, who it was when we assigned the case. And already he's like, who did you assign to the case?
It's where get the first glimpse of him flickering.
Yeah, throughout this movie, he's going to get
Inspector
this twitch.
Clouseau.
Herbert Lom gets this twitch after a while, and it carries over into like the next 3 movies that Herbert Lom is in.
Yeah,
because especially like in
he slowly turns into
a psychopath.
Yeah.
Eventually in the series, he's going to go to an insane asylum.
Even at the end of this movie, I mean, he's trying to he's trying to kill. Yeah,
but he starts getting a little. Every time he hears Clouseau's name, Clouseau, and they mention, we put Clouseau on the case. He's like, oh dear God. And then the car is pulling up to the mansion.
Yes,
and I love the car pulls right up next to a fountain, and it's in Europe. The driver's seats are on the other side. And
and they're little cars, tiny little cars, like clown cars. Yeah, Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah. He opens the door, and he just falls right into the water, the fountain, and he's just soaked and wet. And of course,
his coat doesn't look that wet when he comes in the house.
It doesn't. No,
you can hear water just drip.
The hat's kind of really wet, but anyways, yeah.
And he starts coming in and questioning everyone, and like, "Oh, you're soaked. Oh, it's just a little something. It's not. It will dry."
He's questioning
I know
it's hard to get his.
I can't. Yeah, it's Peter Sellers. He was a genius, and he's questioning the butler. And he's like, who are you? And he's like, the butler. I am the head butler, and he's got an assistant with him, Hercule. And he said, scratch that out and write head butler. When they go upstairs,
his helper.
When they go upstairs and there's the body laying there, and he takes his pen and he picks up the pistol, and he smells it. He's like, this pen has been fired recently.
The pen.
And he goes to give it to Hercule, and he goes to grab. He's like, no,
he wouldn't let him have his pen.
This is my pistol pen. You'll get your own. Pistol pen. This pen has been fired recently.
Oh my God!
And then,
meanwhile, Elke Summers. What's her name?
Maria Gambretti.
Gambrelli
or Gambretti. I can't remember which one.
Maria Gambrelli.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Is on the bed, looking in her robe.
And this is her, and he starts questioning her.
And the butler says,
"Oh yeah," he goes, "She did it."
Yes, I came in here. Mm-hmm. I seen her.
How do you know she did it?
I came in.
He says, "I heard the shot." Oh, so you heard? You
right?
See,
you heard the
shot. And then the other guy, because I came in and she was holding the pistol,
and it was still smoking.
Still smoking.
And he goes,
"Was it still smoking?"
Was it still smoking? And she goes,
yes, but I don't know how it got there.
Yeah, through the whole movie, she acts so innocent, and But anyways,
the rest of the world is convinced she did it.
Yeah, well,
but he's like, she is covering for somebody. She
will
not divulge his identity. So he's going to question her. And he's just like instantly smitten with her as soon as anyone would.
And he's sending people out of the rooms.
Yeah.
He wants to be alone with her.
He tells her to go look, don't look in here, go look outside. What's outside? There's no clues.
I mean,
all the clues are right there.
For him wanting to be such a great he wanted to get straight in at that.
Oh, I know.
Maria Gambrelli.
So yeah, she says that that he was her lover. And he was a Spaniard.
Yeah.
And he was ripping her dresses. Oh, he raped you.
He raped you. And she goes, no, he was just very mad, passionate.
Yes, he was just very passionate.
She goes, the buttons were all over. I tried to pick them up, but he was so passionate. And he's just like looking at her like immediately, smitten, because I guess that kind of got him
sitting
going.
on the bed with her.
This woman's easy.
He's sitting on the bed with her, trying to, he's
very close to her. Yeah, he puts the pen in
his mouth.
He puts the pen in his mouth and he sucks the ink.
Or before that, remember he's walking around the room and he opens up a thing of cream. He's like, I suspect no one and I suspect everyone. And he smells it. He pulls it away and there's cream all over his nose. and
he looks in the mirror.
He notices it. Everyone's already seen it and wipes it off. What was that you said? He's still got a hunk of it on.
That's the kind of police inspector he is.
But that's what makes him so funny. He's just so deadpan serious. And I'd have had a hard time working with him. I'd be laughing. Like, he's doting on her.
Oh, I would love to work with somebody like this.
Remember the party? We should do the party sometime too. Another Blake Edwards Peter Sellers movie.
Yes, if you haven't seen
Party.
that movie, oh my God.
It's all about him trying to get into a party that he mistakenly, I think, got an invitation for.
Right.
And he's getting kicked out. Or
he keeps acting.
Or he's an Indian actor. He's all tan and brown like an Indian.
Yes, very much so. Yes, he's Indian. But yeah, he does. The Party's a good one. You got to check that out.
Actually, they were doing that movie when they made that Inspector Clouseau with Alan Arkin. They didn't want to be a part of that. They were making this other movie.
Right.
So MGM just went ahead or the Mirish company, whatever, went ahead and made it anyway.
Darn Mirish.
So yeah, Clouseau is, he's a little smitten with Maria, and they're on the bed talking, and he's she says she's got a bump. Someone hit her.
Well, she said she with the doorknob.
Yeah, and it's a very nasty bimp.
It's a very nasty bimp.
Bimp, you have a little concussion.
And he says it about 50 times.
Bimp.
He goes, the bimp. And
then they decide to smoke. Yes, let's have a smoke, and it'll help us clear our minds. And
he just starts.
So they're having a smoke, and he puts the lit lighter in his pocket.
Puts it in there, and they're talking, and smoke starts just coming up from the back of his
overcoat.
I'm wondering, don't you smell that already? Or
they say something. It was like, oh, my jacket is smoking.
But it was a good minute or two while we're watching the smoke going up.
Whips it out the window.
Oh,
and hilarious. Then Chief Inspector Dreyfus arrives, opens the door, which knocks Clouseau completely out of like a third floor window, flat on his face.
Flat on his face.
And he tells him that he's off the case because Chief Inspector Dreyfus doesn't want Clouseau anywhere near this very wealthy man and prestigious man. And
because he don't want to, ruin,
and I like when
the case.
Yeah, and I like I can't remember the wealthy man's name, Mr. Ballone or something like that. Ballone or
Ballone, yeah, something like that.
And who does not speak in a French accent at all?
No, I think he's British. He's like. Yeah. He's like,
and I like when he comes up there and he mentions that Clouseau's off the case. He's like, I rather liked him.
I rather liked him. Yeah, but how does he rather like him? Because
he's an idiot.
Yeah,
he won't solve the case.
He was standing down there though in front of him with a wet hat. But we come to find out, that there's a reason why he rather liked him.
Right. So Clouseau's off the case, and we are going to be introduced to the next big character in the Pink Panther series,
Kato.
And I got to tell you,
get me whenever you.
Kato is played by Burt Kwok, who is awesome. And I've seen him in other things before. And yeah, I'm always just
Kato. I haven't seen him in a karate movie, but he's
it's always. But he's his manservant.
Yes.
I don't think he's paid. I don't think he just lives with Inspector Clouseau, cleans the house and answers the phone. But he's got one other job too, and that is to help Inspector Clouseau
become the best
martial artist
and fighter and have his reflexes cat-like.
Yes, and the rule is you must attack me at any time when I least so Clouseau's sleeping.
He peeks his head in,
and it's always it's a running gag throughout all the movies.
It's great.
And they destroy his apartments.
He's got to have some good insurance. There's
the one Return of the Pink Panther.
State Farm is there. No.
Clouseau comes home. He's going to put something in the fridge. Kato's hiding in the friggin' refrigerator. Who knows how many hours he's been in there, but he's in the fridge.
That's what he'll do. He'll take and hide. He'll hide for hours just to creep up and attack him. But that's his job.
And then in Pink Panther Strikes Again, he makes a point when he's looking for Kato in the house. He opens the fridge. Now that movie, they've got like bows and swords. And nunchucks.
Yes.
And there's like the high kicks.
Yeah, they're going at him big time in the other movie. This one's a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, this one's not as hardcore as it. But they typically. But Kato does it like 5 times in the movie.
Well, he's also he's sleeping on the bed too when he gets attacked. But he gets a phone call while they're fighting, and it's Chief. You're back. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, he's got him around the neck, and they pause and act normal.
And the phone call is telling
you're back on the case.
He's back on the case. And we find out the next morning the reason that he's back on the case.
Well, I like that as he's told that though. He kicks Kato in the
kicks again in the bread basket.
He gives him a couple of chops.
And that's Kato's job to attack Clouseau when he least suspects it, to keep his reflexes razor sharp. And every time he does do it, it's always like, Gato, no, you idiot, not now. You know, like when he's with a woman or something like that. Gato, no.
But he thinks it's at any time, so it should be.
We find that it was a rich, someone very powerful, and that, you know, convinced the higher ups in the police and the gendarme to put Clouseau back on the case.
Right.
So Clouseau is explaining things, and he's doing his fact. And he's telling Hercule, his assistant, all about the facts. It's all about the facts. And he snaps, and he can't snap his fingers. And he's like, you know, he's going through all the things that are true.
You fact.
And, you know, we found the smoking gun in Maria Gabrielli's head. Fact. And he's like, now what does that tell us? And the assistant's, you know, obviously, Maria Gabrielli killed him. No, you idiot. That's not right at all.
You food.
I remember he's got his pointer stick, and he hits the chalkboard, and it breaks. Look what you made me do. You made me break my pointer stick. Now I have nothing to point with.
That's another funny thing is all the things that break and rip and everything else. I mean,
now I have nothing to point with.
And what he sends him out of the office, right? And
well, they're talking a little bit first, and he's talking about what he's going to do, and he's going to, because Maria Gambrelli's in jail. She is in the prison, and she's going to be brought up for questioning. I don't think the prison's actually in the jail building or the office building where Clouseau works. There's like a prison somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as a matter of fact, that is true. And she's going to be brought by police escort for questioning with Clouseau. And just like before, he's spinning the globe around, his classic thing where he spins the globe and puts his hand on to rest his hand and gets it caught in there. Stupid stuff like that. But yeah, he sends Hercule's going to go bring her up. And
he walks out of the office and it's empty.
Yeah, there's always something silly like that where
and he's
Hercule's like behind him and Clouseau's sneaking out and he doesn't see him back there and gets
he turns around and he's gone.
Someone's watching me.
You know, and then he walks into he sees him out in the hall.
Mm-hmm.
He opens the door real quick again and he's gone, like he disappeared.
Yeah, he is gone.
Just a very funny, observation. And then he walks back in his office, closes the door, and he's just walking around, and he turns around. Well, he pretends to start.
He's practicing
speaking.
What he's going to say. He's trying to be all cool. You know, should I pull the shade down? Where things should be on this to make him look really cool.
Because he's infatuated with Maria Gambelli.
And they bring her in, and he doesn't even realize she's there. Yeah, she walks right in.
She's sitting on the chair, and he turns around and he goes, "Oh!"
And he's still practicing, Miss Gambelli. Yes.
And she's sitting there. Yeah.
Where were you?
The whole time he's trying to sit on. He's trying to interrogate her, but he sits on the desk. He breaks the wood.
Oh, yeah.
The wood falls off. He picks it up and just.
Remember the part before that? He did something with his cigarette case, and they all he went to go lean forward. They all went all over the place because then he asks her if she wants to smoke, and he's got nothing. Here, have one of mine, and he makes a point with the lighter this cigarette to make sure it goes out before he puts it back in his mouth. And he's destroying crap on his desk when he goes to sit down. And again, he's trying to get out of her who she's protecting.
Yeah.
And no one else
he actually thinks something. He don't believe she did it, but he believes she's hiding. You know.
Yeah, like she's in cahoots with someone else, and she's too afraid. Yeah. It's not that she's bad; she's just too afraid to reveal who this other person is. She's afraid for her life, and she'd rather go to prison.
She's innocent until proven guilty.
Remember, she's talking about the prison, the conditions, the furniture, and she's saying, I'd just rather sit on the floor than sit on the kind of chairs that they have there. He calls the superintendent.
Yes.
When are you going to get some modern furniture down there? This is modern corrections. We should have modern furniture.
And he's trying to act very,
forceful, like he's got any authority.
Right.
And the guy pretty much tells him to stick it. He's like, well, I think you should consider it. Well, you too. You filthy swine.
Trying to show off to Maria Gambelli. Yeah. And he brings out the cigarettes. And he's trying to get close to her.
Yeah, he's always sitting on that edge of the desk there. And then they release her. He orders for her to be released. He wants to follow her. And tried to.
While they're in the office, he's close to her and she rips his sleeve and everything else.
Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about that.
He starts going.
No, he went to go unlock some of his files. He's like, he's got his smoke.
Yes.
I find it very good to keep my important files locked away. You'll never know. And he goes to turn away and
He rips his pants.
His boxers hanging on. Oh no.
Then he walks up to her.
And she does something, just like touches his suit. The whole
sleeve comes on. Bad.
Stupid tailor.
Bad tailoring job. Yeah.
And he's just sitting there.
He doesn't care. Yeah, and he comes in and he tells what Hercule.
Yeah.
To release
her because we're gonna follow her. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
Who she's protecting, and that's the whole thing of that.
But that's what's he goes and he tries to follow her.
And then another little running gag we find is that Clouseau is also a master of disguise, and it gets more intricate as the films go on. In this one, he's standing outside the prison.
Did we get to that part? Oh yeah, that comes out.
And he's the balloon salesman, and he's got little fake disguise.
Every time throughout this movie, sorry to interrupt.
No, please go ahead.
But every time during the whole movie, she gets released at least
they put her back in jail
times.
Because more people are going to die. Every time somebody dies, she's there.
Yeah, she's there every time somebody dies. And when they release her, he's always outside in a different disguise.
Mm-hmm.
And the first scene is
he's a balloon salesman, I think.
He's got a big bunch of big balloons.
And the cop comes up to him, do you have a license for those balloons? Now, I remember in one of the other Pink Panther movies, he asks, he's walking off the street. He's like been demoted. And the guy's got one of those little monkeys, collecting money. And he's, do you have a license for that monkey? And then the French guy doesn't even understand what he's saying.
Yeah, he says
that monkey.
He says it like 3 or 4 times, and the guy don't know what the heck he's talking about.
So he gets arrested.
And every time he gets arrested throughout the whole movie, it's like
the paddy wagon.
Yeah, and you see the back of the police paddy wagon taking him away.
And each time there's like a little gag, like in this thing, the balloons are sticking out of the back of the car.
And you would think he would say, "I'm Inspector Clouseau."
I am Santé.
But doesn't he have his?
No, man.
But anyways, but that's what makes it funny.
Right.
I mean,
And so he ends up going on foot to the Boulogne mansion and follows Maria. She goes into the greenhouse.
Yes,
and there's a scream or whatever, and the gardener, I can't remember his name, he's lying there dead, and she's holding a pair of bloody hedge clippers where the tips are all bloodied. Dog
chases him too, though.
Oh yeah, dog chases him into there.
Blows his cover because the dog chases him and gets his foot, and he's like kicking it around.
So there it is. She's at the scene of a crime again. No one else is around. So and she's oh, and he's
yeah, he thinks she's like going, I'm in love with you. Yes. Put your arms up there. No, but then he notices the bloody,
Right. So she's back in prison. She's back in jail.
And he releases her again because he says, I don't believe she did it. So
and Dreyfus gets a wind of that, and that's that twitch starts getting worse.
The twitch is getting worse and worse. And this time he's on the outside of the prison.
He's an artist, right?
He's an artist. He's got
like a street painter and a little cardboard.
All of this
beard and a
what is it
called? A neckerchief and glasses.
But he goes all out.
Yes.
He's got big giant canvas
in one of the other movies he plays everywhere. Like a hunchback. Remember when he's got a hunchback?
But if that's real artwork, it's just what did he hurry up and run to the store and say,
I have no idea.
I must borrow about 50 prints from you. Yes.
So he gets arrested again into the paddy wagon, and you see all the paintings or whatever hanging up in the back.
Yep.
And it's just a little running gag throughout the whole film, and it's fun. That's the thing he does throughout all the films, especially Pink Panther Strikes Again, is the disguises. Like the hunchback one even fools Kato. What have you done with the inspector? And it's, Kato, it's me.
Oh my God, yeah.
So,
hey, Pat, you out there? Pat's watching. He's a horror movie review guy.
Oh yeah.
So he's always, we're back and forth on stuff all the time.
Okay.
And we got something going in October. So he said he'd be watching the chat. Wondering if the chat's working while we're doing it because we're doing this live. The chat's off to the right-hand side, so whether anybody's actually seeing it and just not typing and chatting is I don't know.
Chatting with us.
But he said he would chat, so maybe it's just not working. I don't know. I've never had the chat go on you.
We are the number one horror podcast in the world.
He did say to say hi to you because
awesome,
he never talks to you.
I know.
He's always talking to me. But
this is the lair. He lives here. I just come over once a week.
Yeah. So I thought I'd throw that out there too.
I'm surprised I'm not passing out after the day I had at work. So.
Oh my God.
Awful.
But anyways, yeah.
Damn sick people. That job would be great if it wasn't for the patients.
Anyways, where do we go? We
back at the mansion.
The millionaire.
Clouseau wants to go and question some of the other people, like the wife, and Monsieur Ballon is shooting pool.
And he gets
his mistress comes in and they bicker back and forth a little bit.
Leaves,
and she leaves and nearly runs Clouseau in the driveway.
Yeah.
He tells Hercule, go follow her, call me when you figure out where she's at.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Clouseau's ever played billiards before in his life.
Yeah, because he comes to the table and starts questioning.
The first thing he grabs is the bridge.
Yeah, and he goes to try to shoot the ball, and the ball is underneath it. Yeah,
it's like, you might want a regular cue. That's what we call the bridge. Oh, yes, it's regular.
But this is
this
is a very funny scene because of the fact that the whole time he's playing pool, you see him with the different sticks and stuff like that, and you eventually find him with the stick that curves totally upwards.
I think it's a little W.C. Fields bit. Didn't W.C. Fields used to do that? I think there's...
Could be. I can't remember.
I'm the pool shark.
Every time he goes and shoots it, it's like...
I think that's the kind of pool stick that W.C. Fields would use. He used that curved one. Okay. So I think that's a little shout out to
W.C. Fields.
W.C. Fields, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Okay.
And he completely rips the felt. And
well, no.
Well,
that's the one with like this, and then he turns it around because he thinks he's smart. Mm-hmm. He goes, "I'm going to turn it around and bend downwards," and he goes again, and he just tears the whole felt.
Ball flies off.
When it was up, but when he tears the felt, he's like, they just show him over there trying to put it back together,
and
just a
he basically kind of
idiot.
Accuses him of being the murderer.
Yeah.
He's got it.
You are the murderer.
And
I'm the what? The mid. Funny.
Oh, I got it. And when he's gonna leave, when Hercule calls him to, he's trailed. He's gonna leave, and he goes to put the pool cue back, and then they all just start falling and breaking. Stupid thing.
It's so funny.
And he's whoever made that should have his head examined. And then he goes to leave. He walks into the wall instead of out the door. And we should also have your architect investigated.
Yeah, because nothing is his fault.
No. Well, it can't be. Nothing's his fault.
Oh my God! Then we get to the next part of the movie, which is
where he's going to get arrested again. He's disguised as a hunter on the property so that he can watch what everybody's doing.
Right.
A little bit. The bird craps on him and the game warden. I mean, what's the game warden doing right on that property?
The game warden looks like Hercule.
But it's not. It's
all those French. I guess the French look alike. Anyways, French they all look the same.
So he gets arrested again, and I love how the balloons hanging out at one time. They have the dead bird just hanging
out of the back of the paddy wagon.
Who had a dead bird?
That's funny as heck. Oh my God! I love that.
Oh, you know what part I got to mention though? It was at the beginning of the film when we first meet Inspector Dreyfus.
I wonder if I know.
He's on the phone,
okay,
and he's saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see you, darling." And yes, I'll bring the wine and cheese and the bread, whatever. It's like, "Oh, I love you too." And then he's like, "I'll see you in 20 minutes." And he goes to hang up, and then another call comes in. It's like, Chief Inspector, it's your wife. And you're like, "Oh, tell her I'm out of town."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I guess when you're in France, everybody's got affairs.
Well, yeah, the whole mansion was doing. But anyways, I also like at the beginning, he's got a little cigar cutter. It's like a little,
it's a guillotine. It's amazing.
Go for a lot of money nowadays. You have one of those.
You think?
Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's pretty cool though.
I don't think it's happened yet, but he's going to end up cutting his thumb off. Like he's
later
cutting a cigar when he hears Clouseau's name. And
later in the movie, yes, he does.
Can you get me a doctor? I just cut off my thumb.
Hilarious.
So
Oh,
they're following Maria again, and they trail her to a place called Camp Sunshine.
the Garden of Health and Happiness.
The garden. Oh yeah,
And we come to find out because this is a funny part of the movie.
This is great.
It ends up being a nudist colony.
Right.
Okay, but he comes in,
and I love how they won't let him in. Like, you're not going in there dressed like that.
This is where he just doesn't force himself as an inspector to see. He could, but he doesn't for some reason. And these people force him to. But before that, he comes into the desk. He asks if Maria Gambrelli has been here, and he goes, "Oh yes, here." He asks where she's at. Probably, he said, "You probably should check the recreation area."
The recreation.
I don't even know if this guy talks French. I don't know. There are all kinds of accents.
He's got
on.
like a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
I think she's in the recreation area.
Might be in the recreation area. Very much so. Yes. Come now.
Yeah, he goes back there. Some
Indians,
hippie playing the guitar. And he's gonna walk out there.
You got a Hispanic.
You're not going out there dressed like that.
But when he walks through, before he even gets in there, he looks at the guy and he goes, "Have you been swimming?"
Right.
And he goes, "Yes. How did you know?"
It is my business.
It is my business to know.
And it's probably where Seinfeld got it from.
Yeah, probably.
Shrinkage.
But then he walks
swimming.
Yeah, then he walks in there. Guy's playing the guitar. Yeah, like you said. And
tells him he's got to
take his clothes off. He goes, and he asks him why. He says, "It's a nudist colony."
Nudist colony.
But
it's always nudist.
but he takes his clothes off,
and he's covering up his junk with the guitar. And then later he picks up
he
covers his backside. He's picking up like a floaty for the pool.
He finds everything that he can, to cover himself up, the floaty and everything.
And he's working his way through all the the nudist kind of trying to fit in. And he ends up seeing Elkie Summer kind of whispering to him, in the hedges, Inspector. Kind of like in a clearing.
Inspector, yeah.
And it turns out
that's my Elkie Summer impression.
It was pretty good. I liked it.
Inspector,
I thought she was right there.
He said, "Ugh, it's you."
And it's one of the maids from the.
I couldn't be nude. I'd sit right on my okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the maid from the house is laying,
hunched over,
and she's dead. I think she'd been choked.
A little bit of horror going on now.
Yeah, see,
a lot of murder going on here.
Choked, people getting stabbed with hedge clippers. We picked the right one.
Inspector Clouseau. Yeah. So
and they can't really do anything about it because they're naked.
Oh, and I love when he comes around the bushes and he looks right down at her breasts. Yes. And
you don't see him, but
ends up falling over. He's just like, "Oh my God!"
He's just like she's talking to him.
Yeah, he passes out from
sight
of her breast.
Man, he's a hairy man, though.
Oh, I was going to,
Sellers,
good thing you pointed that out. Peter Sellers has got a lot of hair on his shoulders.
You wouldn't see that
and back. And he's. Is he French in real life?
No, he's British.
That's right. Peter Sellers, he's British.
Long history. And then you remember when because the cops,
he played so many roles.
Inspector Dreyfus is following. He got wind of where he's going. He's going there too. And don't you love when the cops come in and they got their clothes on, their uniforms? Everyone who's naked is, you're standing there naked in front of all these other people, but it's only clothes comes on.
Well, they think they're being busted for something.
I don't know.
I don't know if
I just thought they were being stupid. Like, clothes on and I'm naked.
Our nudist colonies, I would think they're legal.
The closest I ever got was when I went to Vegas, at Caesar's Palace. There was a section for European sunbathing.
Really?
Yeah, but I was there.
I've never even been on a nude beach.
Well, that was the closest I.
Let alone.
Well, no, I take that back. When I went on my honeymoon in Riviera Maya near Cancun, the resort that we were at, you were allowed to, women were allowed to sunbathe topless, and there was always the same lady every day, and she was kind of old and too tanned and wrinkly, and it wasn't until the last day of our honeymoon that like a hot chick did it.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm sitting there reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix and just looking over while my wife is sunbathing, and all right, not so bad. Giggity. All right. We forgot that little bit when Clouseau first pulls up and knocks some guy on a bike, knock him into the water. What? Remember they knocked that bicyclist into the water on the way in, and then the same guy, I think they knock him into the water on the way back.
Yeah, because they do get in their vehicle and escape the nudist colony.
Because the road's this big.
Before the
before they're discovered by the police.
Yeah.
And they escape in his car. They're completely naked.
And they're trying to get home to his apartment.
Right. He's like, I will get to my apartment and figure some way to get us inside. And everything that can go wrong goes wrong.
Of course.
Traffic jams.
And they're all looking at him. And,
it's just, I'm going to scream.
Yeah, the cops there, all the cars are there. And the next thing you know,
yep, they get arrested. But in this time, all the cops are like standing on the back of the paddy wagon looking in the window.
Because I'm Maria Gambrelius.
Yeah, man, who wouldn't want to see LP song?
Yeah.
I guess I should just throw my third smoke out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Peter Sellers was married 4 times.
No way.
Oh, and he was married.
Garth.
He was married to Britt Eklund from our dancing naked chick from The Wicker Man. He was married to that and blew it. A Bond girl,
Ted.
But evidently he was very.
He's one of those guys.
He was abusive and jealous, and it didn't last long. Man, she left his ass.
Well, it was like you said. He was a troubled man.
They said, he
was a troubled man.
He had several heart attacks. Hypochondriac.
Several.
Yes, he did. He had several heart attacks.
He had high blood pressure.
He died of a heart attack. But
so he had high blood pressure.
Probably
sugar. Probably.
I don't think he was diabetic. I didn't.
You think he had varicose veins going on?
Bad breath.
He had to pluck out his eyelashes because they were just a little bit too large and long. But anyways,
just sad, man. He was just sad, man.
That's a shame.
Which is the way a lot of these comedians end up. I mean, who would have thought, Ronnie Dangerfield was sad, or
Robin Williams.
Who would have thought that? Hell, even Iron Maiden's got a song about him on their new record about Robin Williams.
Iron Maiden, new record out there, huh?
Well, yeah.
Ted's big into heavy metal. You would like Death Twitch on here. He's horror and heavy metal. Eric from Death Twitch. But anyways, that's we got off
Dreyfus
on a tangent of him being so depressed and abusive.
Yeah,
and
well, it seems
some people just are like
comedians are though. Comedians are
I mean,
very self-deprecating, and
I mean,
like if I make fun of myself, you can't make fun of me. So,
and then they go home.
I mean, look at all Ronnie Dangerfield's jokes. I mean, they're all ripping on himself.
Great movie.
But go figure, man. Yeah. The guy was, a depressed dude.
Yep.
But anyway, back to our movie. Clouseau gets arrested, and he just basically gets bumped out. He says, I'm sending you to another facility. You're just going to work in an office, and you're out. You're off the case.
He tells him he's off the case again.
And he's at home packing. Cato is, packing his bag for him. I think they might tussle a little bit in this part. And he gets a phone call. He's back on the case. That dude's pulling strings again. They want Clouseau back on the case because he's an idiot and he's not going to solve it.
Yeah, they were fighting before the phone call.
I love that. I mean, and they just get more wild as the movies go on. I mean,
oh my god!
Like I said, the Pink Panther movies get more slapsticky as they go on.
The one I think it's in Strike, but where they demolish the complete apartment, the bed.
I think they blow it up. Or
something. They fall through the floor to the apartment below them. And I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, they've got all the martial arts weapons, the bows, and I mean, he's in his robe. And I just remember that he's got like his chain necklace, and I just remember them coming out like feet first, like that. And then Cato, he's just got his butt whooped, and he's got to go and unpack everything.
And he's holding his neck.
Well, because I think Jacques going to go take a shower, and he gets that idea, I'm going to go in there and attack him again. I think he attacks him in the bathtub.
Yes, he jumps in.
Jumps in the bathtub.
They don't show it, but you hear him in there go,
Cato!
Jump on him.
So then we get to a scene where Chief Inspector Dreyfus is he's at a shrink.
Yeah, he needs to talk to a psychiatrist.
Clouseau.
Yeah,
Clouseau, I'm going mad.
This guy's driving me crazy.
I haven't eaten in 3 days. I haven't slept. I'm cracking up.
I mean, it's
cracking up.
It's funny how he's driving him crazy.
I mean, and he can't do anything about it
because they keep putting him back on the case.
Someone higher up than him is telling him you have to put him back on the case. And he's a bungler.
Oh man, it's too good.
So there's that little part, and that sets up like the next. Well, Alan Arkin did the next one, and it doesn't tie into any of the others.
Yeah.
But the 2 after that, actually even the 3 after that, all have Herbert Baum in them, and so they all tie in with that. He just drives him nuts. I even like in Pink Panther Strikes Again when he goes to get Chief Inspector Dreyfus out of the asylum, bring him home,
right,
and completely like,
yes.
Remember he knocks him in the lake. And he gets him out, and he
gets him out, and it totally demolishes him as soon as he gets him out.
He's sitting on him like Dreyfus is on his belly, laying on the ground. Clouseau gets behind him, almost like he's getting him up the butt. And he's like, "Out with the bad, in with the good, out with the bad." Get the water out of him. He's gyrating on him, and this old lady walks by and just whacks him in the head with a Paris because being filthy.
You dirty, filthy pigs, you. We are not being filthy, you filthy pig.
Out with the bad air, in with the good.
Yeah, he tortures this guy, man.
But he doesn't mean to do it. He's just an
no,
idiot.
I know. But you think he'd freaking leave the force and get the heck out of there?
And he took over Dreyfus's job while he was
right.
I am Chief Inspector now that you're crazy.
He calls him crazy.
I just know that he's the Chief Inspector. But he's in the crazy house.
And immediately starts blinking again. I mean, it just brings him right back to, oh my God, I'm here again. So that takes us back to he's got Elkie,
out on a date.
Well, Maria Gambretti and Inspector Clouseau.
They're going out on the town.
Yeah, they're
all
eating,
kinds
they're
of different
dining,
ethnic themed restaurants and clubs.
Yeah, and they end up at one. It's like a gypsy, French gypsy.
Yeah, there's
type
a Spanish.
thing.
Well, I gotta say, like the first one is like a Spaniard.
The Spaniard.
And at each place, a man dressed in black.
Yes,
you see him from here down is trying to kill Clouseau.
Right from this point forward in the movie, nonstop, everywhere he goes, somebody else ends up dying a second before he was supposed to die.
Right, like the guy's going to shoot, and he happens to bend
down,
and the gun goes off. Someone else
him.
Gets shot, or someone throws a knife, and someone stands up at that exact moment, gets stabbed.
And I like how they're
it's just dumb luck.
Like how they're at the Spanish restaurant, and there's some tap dancing Spanish thing going on. Flamenco. Oh, you ballroom dance? Do you?
In my spare time.
Oh, anyways, so that's going on, and the guy's got the gun coming out. Okay, so we got to that party. Right. The gun misses, shoots their glasses, and hits the person next to him, and they don't even notice it.
Yeah, they're like, ha, 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 ha.
But then the next thing is
dead.
They want to bring him out to dance.
Well, they go to a Hawaiian place.
Well, they want him to dance here too.
Yeah, well, they go to a Hawaiian place, and I think that's the knife.
The knife,
and then they go to it's a Russian, I believe.
Okay.
Where they're doing the dancing and
is that a different restaurant?
Yeah, they go to 3
that's
different restaurants.
Okay,
this is like a Russian one, and the guy's doing his not
confused.
Yeah, that's and every time he does it, hey, he takes a big drink of vodka.
So and then
so they bring Elkie out to do it.
She does it.
And she does it. Takes a little drink,
and in the background you could see the drink for the next dancer is poison dropping in there.
Gloved hand just drops a little capsule or a pill in there. Because they see that he's already come to Clouseau. The guy's got Clouseau and they're getting the drink ready, and he drops it in there.
And he pulls him out next, and he goes like he's going to do
all
this.
Seriously.
And as soon as he squats down, you hear the rip of the pants.
Oh, yeah, just ripped his pants wide. But I love how he's going to be all serious. And I was like, at first he doesn't want to go, and he's like.
He's going to do it like Arthur Fonzarelli in Happy Days.
Oh, exactly, like in that Weezer video.
Oh my God!
Ooh,
so, needless
I hate that song. I hate Weezer.
Yeah, it's not too good. But anyways, so the guy, the other Russian dancer, drinks it and he dies.
Right, and right immediately,
And even as he goes out of the restaurant into the car, he closes the door, and the what is whoever the guy that lets the people into the car.
What is it, a poison dart or something, I think? Or
yeah, you see
it a poison dart?
Out and it goes, and it hits him.
And it gets the guy who's closing the door for him, the valet or whatever. So, I mean, what is it, 4 people?
Yeah, in a span of like that.
In that evening. And so Dreyfus is looking at the paper the next morning, and it says, 4 people die trying to kill, Inspector Clouseau.
And he's going mad.
Clouseau and Elkie Summer end up at his apartment. They're all a little tipsy.
Yes.
You're trying to take me into your apartment. Yes, this is my apartment.
Come on in, lay down.
And he gets her in his bed, and he's getting so excited, man. He's trying. like he's gonna finish the job before he even gets all his clothes off. And the doorbell starts ringing.
Oh,
the doorbell rings, and you see the gloved hand leaving a package, and
it's a bomb.
Yeah, he opens it up. It's just a clock, and he's looking at looking at the package. What is these? And he goes back, and then Cato's gonna do his thing. It's Cato's job, man. When something's going on, when he least suspects it. Yeah. I love when they do that. Every time he goes to leap on him, Cato, no, Cato.
Oh, man.
My dad, maybe I mentioned this on another podcast, I don't know, but we used to have an answer machine with tape, and he did a Clouseau bit, and my dad can do it really well.
Inspector Clouseau.
Yeah, he's like, hello, this is Inspector Clouseau. and he even had this thing like where all the, one of those, I think it was like a toy hammer that when you did it sounded like glass breaking.
Right. Yeah.
And it was something like, no, Cato, do not touch. And you're the glass.
Back in the day when
please to leave a message at the beep.
Those are good old days when you used to be able to leave a message like
on
your machine.
Oh, I remember on my answer machine.
Now it's voicemail. We could still do it, but it goes directly to whatever.
When I had my answer machine, I remember I had the beginning of House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're invited to a party. There might be a few murders.
Ted would, when I'd call him up, I'd sit there and because of the messages you would leave, they would be like, some of them were like 2 minutes long.
Remember I did the end of Planet of the Apes with Cornelius reading from the sacred scroll, beware the beast man, for he is the devil. And I put the whole part on there.
I love listening to it, but I can see how somebody else is calling and going,
beware the beast man, for he is the
is
devil.
this ever going to
he will murder his
stop?
brother to own his brother's land. And whatever he says at the end of that, the whole thing was on there.
Hilarious. It was good.
And I remember like my mom would call, I hate it. Change it.
Hey, I can't get through to you ever. You don't ever let me get to you. Stop doing this so long. What are you doing?
That was so great.
It drove me crazy.
I put like a little part from Flash Gordon. It was just like, for God's sake, strap yourselves down. That was it. That was no leave a message. No who this is.
Just quotes from movies.
Play a whole scene. Man.
Oh, that was great. Oh, okay. So where are we in the movie?
Oh, Jesus! The bomb goes off.
Yeah.
Blows the apartment up. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But
isn't this where we're getting where he gets called back to the mansion?
Mm-hmm.
And isn't this where he gets everybody together?
Are we that point already?
I think so.
Oh, my back.
Yeah, he's outside with
Hercule.
Yeah, Hercule.
Oh yeah, they're going to synchronize their watches.
And this is funny too. Yeah, they're going to.
He wants to go in there. He asked for everybody to meet him, and he's got a plan. He knows who the killer is, and he's.
And this is where we get to the basic 1940s murder mystery where they're all kind of like in one room, and he's accusing everybody of the murder, and
Hercule's going to turn the lights off, the power off at a certain time. When the lights go up, then obviously the real murderer is going to escape, and that's how we'll know who the real murderer was.
Yes,
and that's his plan.
And the funny part, there's so many things that go wrong in this.
Right,
I mean, but yeah, they try to
stepping on people, falling over tables and chairs. It takes 5 minutes for them to get their watches synchronized. That's kind of funny.
Well, and when he's in there, they all start talking about their time on their clocks, their watches and clocks and stuff. And she's like going, he's like, it's 8:54, whatever it is.
He's like, this watch hasn't lost a second since you gave it to me, darling. I didn't buy that for you. Oh, oops.
But she goes, mine's 8:52, 3 minutes less. Then somebody else says theirs is 9:55. Right. It's just they're all off by like 2 or 3 minutes, and meanwhile, Inspector Clouseau is trying to, solve this murder.
Well, right,
but they're all just going back and forth worried about their times and clocks.
And then Hercule ends up calling him because they're supposed to do it at a certain time. He says, "My watch stopped."
He calls him his watch, and he's down in the basement,
right, to turn the power off.
And he tells him to start counting.
Yeah, just count seconds.
And they show him a little later,
He has to count to like 300 or whatever to get to 5
No, he
minutes.
said 2,000 something. I mean, I don't know what. Yeah, I think it was just way up in because he
Mom
basically
won't stop.
Basically it was 4 minutes later, and it would have been the top of the hour,
like 5 minutes.
But yeah, it's what was funny.
And then right before the lights go off, everyone starts arguing. You know,
well, he's
she killed him because you were having an affair, and then that's how he started. Everyone's like,
well, I love the scene through the scenes. What he does. I mean, he's sitting on the couch. This is where he
falls off the couch
because it's one of those cushion couches. He grabs his knee and he's wobbling back, and he falls backwards. And he stands right back up, like, oh, I meant for
what
that.
What was that you said?
What was that you said? And like it was meant
does.
to happen. And he goes over to somebody, and as he does that, he picks something up. Maybe something dropped, and he knocks the big table over,
right,
and knocks
like
into
the coffee table.
The butler guy,
and
so
steps
everything,
on the lady's foot,
a bunch of clumsy stuff going on,
which is funny in itself. It probably doesn't sound as funny when we're talking about it, but when you're watching Peter Sellers do it,
right, it is very funny.
He is just gold as this character.
Yeah, he's like Jerry Lewis kind of thing going on. I mean, the slapstick.
I put him up there. I mean, Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis
great
is
stuff too.
For me, Jerry Lewis is way better. But it's the same type of slapstick kind of. He can pull off doing. Oh my God, the bellboy doesn't. They don't say a single word in the whole movie, and it's.
The only one, like one of his most popular ones is Nutty Professor, and it's probably like the one I like the least.
Well, right? No, yeah.
But I just remember watching it, and then you realize where Professor Frink on The Simpsons, where he got his voice. They totally stole that from Jerry Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
If you kids didn't know that, watch The Nutty Professor. Not the one with Eddie Murphy in.
No, please don't. Oh, yeah,
Jerry frickin' Lewis.
And I mean, hey.
And like I said, it's a funny movie. It's probably like the least funny.
Right, but still,
the ones that he wrote and directed.
Because and he wanted to show a suave, sophisticated side to himself too.
Right.
Where he wasn't, because later in his career, I think he got sick and tired of being Dean Martin's sidekick and all this. But man, that's what made him. But people.
But he wrote, he directed.
Oh my God,
there's a handful of artists out there that did that, and
they have old-time radio shows too that I mean still from the 40s, when they used to play all the stuff on the radio and you tune in on a Saturday night or something like that and listen to the show, and those are all just great.
Yes, you recorded a bunch for me. I love the Mel Blanc show.
Oh, the Mel Blanc shows.
I still have those, which I think are before he did the Looney Tunes.
Yes,
and you saw like
he had the Porky Pig character.
But it was a different character. It wasn't Porky Pig. It was
right. He called. I forget who. What did he call him? But anyways, yeah. So
there's Space Patrol. I think
Mel Blanc did a ton of old time radio shows. Yeah. He was on the Jack Benny Show, recurring character all the time. I know we're going off tangent here with old time radio shows, but it's he was on just about every. You name it, Fibber McGee, Molly. But no
one out there knows what
Mel Blanc's voice. Immediately from Porky Pig, Bugs Bunny. I mean, it's so distinguishable. You know what I mean? So, listen to some of the old time radio shows. Get them. Mel Blanc show, Jack Benny show.
You still had some on iTunes, right? Didn't we post a bunch of them, or you posted a bunch of them?
I was at the beginning when we started this out. I put some horror stuff up there and all that, but
some good ones. Boris Karloff, Vincent Price.
Yeah. But only on the iTunes. I mean, I didn't put it up on YouTube.
But you could probably find YouTube ones, old time radio shows.
Oh yeah,
and that's great. Like this time of year when the fall is coming on,
listen to
an old spooky show with Basil Rathbone or Vincent Price, or any of those guys.
Inner Sanctum. There's too many to
just put them on and just listen at night. And
I could go on a whole podcast on horror old time radio shows. I should do that one day by myself.
Maybe, right. Because, I mean, you think about it. I mean, how many radio shows were there?
That's there weren't movies. There were,
and it was all regional. I mean, you lived in the big cities. You got some of the bigger name shows, but you lived out somewhere else. You got different shows. People did different things.
And all your big stars did it, like Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff. Boris Karloff was a big one. He did a lot. He did a lot. Even Vincent Price at the beginning of his career did a lot of old time radio shows.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, which was very,
I've got
very
some
cool.
with Peter Cushing. You guys know I'm a big fan of his. He did some. And his voice is great on those. And then they even do some more modern ones. Like I have
the British did them up in 60s and the 70s even still. I mean, you could find old time radio shows still being broadcasted in the 60s and 70s in the UK.
Right. And they even tried to bring it back a bit. There's
The Twilight Zone that they did.
Right. There was they even did all 3 of the original Star Wars movies as radio broadcasts. And the original Star Wars.
Lord of the Ring.
They did Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
I have those.
Not Lord of the
But the Star
Ring.
Wars one, they're all expanded. That's what's cool about them.
Yeah.
All the stories are expanded. So like the original Star Wars radio drama is like, whereas the movie's 2 hours long,
Yeah.
the radio drama is like 6 or 8 hours long. And it's got, Mark Hamill. Not all the same actors do their voices, but Mark Hamill does them. Anthony Daniels.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah,
I
the
listened
real
to them
effects
all.
and everything.
I mean, yeah.
And stuff that's in there that, wasn't even in the scripts or anything. They just, fleshed out the story big time.
Mm-hmm.
I even have, I don't know if you have them. I have Stephen King's The Mist as a radio drama. I have.
I think you gave me that.
Did I?
I think
I
you
have
did.
Pet Sematary as a radio drama. A lot of H.P. Lovecraft stories.
Yeah.
I have as radio dramas as well. And they're just cool.
They are. You turn all the lights out, man. You put them on your, headphones.
Yeah, just let your imagination.
Yeah, you listen. You put the theater in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And I was listening to the Mist one before there was ever a movie. I listened to that. So
yeah.
And the Pet Sematary one, listen to that at night if you can come across that. Maybe your library has, or you might even still be able to buy it. That'll get you.
Oh yeah,
Pet Sematary one.
Yeah, scary, spooky.
So cool stuff, especially when it's coming up to Halloween time.
Oh yeah, and we're going to get into the hardcore movies here. Anyways, where we at? And
this is a hardcore movie.
Yeah. Lots of murders.
We're getting towards the tail end of the film.
We are.
Yeah.
Pink Panther's got a tail.
Yeah, the tail end of the film. See, I chose my words carefully there. I think we were saying that, he's accusing everybody. Everyone starts doing some infighting and, so-and-so killed so-and-so because you found out you were having an affair with him. And it's all coming out who's been buggering who.
And he's just kind of Inspector
And
Clouseau's
finally, Monsieur Ballone, he comes out and says, I did it or whatever because he's the
blamed himself.
Well, his wife is the one who shot the Spaniard because she expected to find her husband in the room with Maria.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the room. He was hiding in the closet. So he snuck out of the closet, knocked Maria out, put the gun in her hand to protect. He was going to blame it on her, protect himself. He was trying to protect his wife, to protect her from it.
Yeah.
While that's going on the inside, we see that.
Oh no, I'm listening. Go.
Dark cloaked figure with a bomb, putting it inside under the hood of Clouseau's car.
I wanted to say that.
Oh, okay. Well, then tell him who it is.
Oh, and then
it pans up and we see.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny part. Yeah, he puts it under the hood of the car. He just said it.
Yeah.
And it's a bomb,
Did you put it under the hood of the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name again?
Chief Inspector Dreyfus.
Chief Inspector Dreyfus
is the one who's been trying to assassinate Clouseau the whole second half of the movie.
So we find,
you couldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, but he blew up the car of whoever all those.
Well, yeah, because the lights go out, and then the scene is we see
everyone
in the house running out because they were all one of them killed the guy in the. What do you call it? The greenhouse. One of them killed.
They all killed each other
because of the affairs.
Right. So it was just a bunch of people killing each other.
Right.
So they all ran out, got into the car, and instead of Inspector Clouseau getting in it and getting blown up and dying, all these people did. And
all of them except for Elkie Summer.
Well, yeah.
All of them get in the cars, like 7 people.
Yeah.
And they drive away a
bunch
little
of clowns getting into a tiny little vehicle.
Dreyfus, Clouseau comes out, stop and Dreyfus is there. It's like, Clouseau, get them, stop them, stop them. And we see the car blow up kind of off screen. And I like how he realizes it was Chief Inspector who's trying. He said trying to kill you, and he's karate chopping him.
Yeah, my hands are
lethal
weapon.
I could have gotten you with a karate chop.
And he's going after him, and he's missing every time.
Right? Yeah. He's not even really hitting.
He thinks he's like a 9th degree black belt, but yet he's a white belt.
Kato's getting one last thing. He jumps at Clouseau and Elkie Summer, knocks them all in the fountain. I saw. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. I mean, sometimes it's kind of hard to do the podcast on the comedies, I guess, if you guys can't see it. But we really love it, and we get a kick because it's playing on the screen here while we're talking, and I just remember things and see things, and I get a kick out of it.
It was Peter Sellers is great. If you like and
maybe it's just more for us just to talk about.
Give the 60. Yeah, I mean,
we love them, so it's like if we want to talk about a W.C. Fields movie, it's more for us than you. Sorry.
Hey, every now and then we're going to do something other than horror. We've got tons of movies. Sorry, I've been sitting down too long in this chair, man. Woo! Got to maneuver and
so it's getting up on Halloween. We got we want to do like maybe one movie from each of the big franchises.
Yeah. I think we're going to do.
Did we say? I think we're going to do Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. My idea is to kind of pick the bastard stepchildren out of all the titles.
Yeah,
that's what I like to do.
Yeah, so we're picking probably one of the worst of the.
Yeah, like the worst out of all of them, and maybe try to make like Halloween 3.
There's some the Freddy
Bride of Chucky, something like that.
Hey, cool
whatever you guys think the worst Jason movie is.
Let us know which one you. I think we know. Yeah.
Well, it's not that but the thing is, I've watched them all many times.
Right.
Out of all the big horror franchises, Jason's my least favorite.
No, I agree with you too.
Maybe just because he's not funny. Freddy's a little funny. Chucky's a little funny. Pinhead's got a comment once or twice, and Michael Myers. I mean, that's just I don't know. Maybe because that's just I don't know why. I like the Michael Myers movies for some reason.
No, I do too. We'll get into that. I mean, it's just
I can't really explain. I don't know much about it, but I like what I like.
Exactly.
So,
but we're going to do probably Freddy 2 because it's
I think we can have some fun.
We can have some fun with that movie, so that's why we're going to pick that. We pick the best one. It's like we're not going to diss it as much.
Yeah.
And I think we like having fun with some of these horror movies.
Everybody does. Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever. It's like let's do the ones that people don't like so much.
Exactly. That's what we plan on doing. So. That's what we'll do.
All right.
So that's another one in the books. It's
how many podcasts have we done so far?
I'm gonna have to check. I'm not sure. I mean, we've been doing this.
We've done like 30 or something.
I don't know. It's only been a few months, right?
Didn't we start like in March or February?
Who knows? I'm gonna go back and see how many we got. But anyways, hey, subscribe to us on YouTube. Okay, so. We gotta get our subscribers up. We're doing great,
And send us muffins.
We'll
eat them.
We're on iTunes
on the show.
iTunes too. Look us up there. We're on Vimeo. We're on SoundCloud.
Is there anything we're not on?
We're on everything.
You're on everything.
We're even on WGN and HBO.
Are we on MySpace?
We got the MySpace is for musicians.
Is it not?
I think so.
I don't know. Yeah. I had a Facebook account. I've deleted it. He told me to get one for the show. I've never been on Facebook before. I get it.
He gets on here.
I friend a couple people, and the next thing I know, I got all this stuff on here. I don't know what to do with this. What am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to read it all? Am I supposed to respond? Do I have to like it all? So I told my wife, because I don't even know how to set it up. I was like, just get rid of it.
He's off of it now. I'm the one doing it all.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll go and I'll read the page, but I mean, I'll just.
He comes and does a podcast. He goes home and he takes the dump.
That's it.
That's about it. So
I do a lot of research for these movies.
No. Hey, I've said plenty of times, you're the info man. I'm the whatever. I have fun with it, man. So I'm glad that you can pick up on all the.
I'm not a social media dude. I'm not a social dude. I talk to you, and that's about it. I talk to him more than I talk to my wife. I talk to you more in the 2 hours that I'm here than I talk to my wife all week.
That's a shame.
It's okay. We do all right.
You stopped the beating though, right?
Well, I mean, she just needs to understand that yes and no are perfectly acceptable answers to every question she asks me.
She hasn't learned that yet, right?
No. So I got to put the leeches on when I get home.
You got that done with the. No, I ain't gonna say that. Forget it. Yeah. But I mean, you gotta.
I'm working on that.
Put her to work. I mean, you gotta have her scrub the floors, get the.
get
the woodwork polished up. Last time I was there, it wasn't as shiny as last time I was there.
Oh, and, I noticed that too, and I told her.
I mean,
I know.
That's what that beeswax is for. I mean,
right.
And if you don't use it.
And I like it right from the comb. You use the beeswax from the comb.
What's she complaining about? She's complaining about the calluses on the hands. And
that's just
and her
part and
knees
parcel
are,
with it. You know, it was good enough for my mom. It was good enough for her.
yeah, her knees are starting to bleed and stuff, and you just
Lotion. That's what Purell is for, or Carrie, whatever.
You know what? This is very awful.
What?
To talk like this.
Well, it's time someone just laid it out there the way that it is.
Oh man. Okay, we're going way
She's at
over.
home watching Bachelorette or whatever the hell is on.
Oh, did they give him a rose yet? What
I think they should give the ones that go home a shoe in the ass.
See you later.
Yeah, they should have to.
Okay.
Have like little people throw things at them as they walk up.
And next time we're going to do a Mexican fiesta cowboy horror movie. Yes. You want to? Or should we do an Indian film?
Mexican fiesta.
What
We're going to do something like that.
do?
We can't do the video.
What should we do, my friend? Tell me.
I don't know.
I'll do whatever you say. We can do Camels on the Road with a knife in your back. It's a B horror movie from way back in the day. It was very, very good. It was from director Peter Patel.
Peter Patel.
Peter Patel. He did this in
Ali Kamal.
Ali Kamal. He did it. He did it to me. He stabbed me in the back 5 times. He stabbed me in the back. I run for police. And I fall down. I die like a croak. Anyways, whatever. And we'll catch you next time. We're going off on a tangent later on.